Hey friends, my name is Megan, and if you're new to my channel, welcome to Mustard Seed Homesteading, and if you're returning, I'm very glad to see that you're here. We're going to continue to look at all the seedlings as we have been every week. A lot of my spring seedlings are outside getting ready to be planted up there, and then a lot of my summer seedlings are still in the garage waiting to get planted closer to the summertime. But what I really want to show you is everything that is going on up there. Not only do I have a lot growing, but I also pulled some stuff out, and I want to share with you what I plan to do up there. So let's get started. All right, friends, well, before I share all of my spring crops that are out here getting ready to be planted, I want to show you all of the seedlings that are in here. So, you guys, I'm happy to say I finally separated all the seedlings that were there. The only things that are left are my pepper plants, and that's it. And those are going to be getting done this week. So what I'm going to do is start over here on my table. This is my new stainless steel table. You guys, I love this table. I'm so happy I got it. It has the storage underneath. It's, you know, waist high, so I'm not bent over. This has been the best investment I've ever made. Now, I will say one thing, if you decide to get one of these, I just recently bought this. I love this thing. I should have gotten it a long time ago. I've seen it and I just never did. This actually scratches easily. Now, it doesn't bother me a ton because obviously it's a working table, so it's going to get scratched. But not only does this help preserve the table from getting scratched too much, but it also keeps the soil in here. So when I make spills or anything like that, it makes cleanup so much easier. I'm probably going to list this in my Amazon products below because I love it that much. They have a small, medium, and large. This is a medium. And you can see that it fits one tray. It probably could fit 2 trays in here, maybe. But I really do like this a lot. And it's just easy to clean and just overall makes my life a lot easier. Now, since I'm looking at, or I have the camera on this tray, I went ahead and planted some more sweet peas. So over here, these sweet peas right here are the sugar snap peas, and all of those are botanical interest in Johnny's, and for some reason, you guys, they were not sprouting. I think I planted them like 3 or 4 times, and I'm finally starting to see like a couple, and obviously 3 of them sprouted, but they were just taking forever. So looks like some are sprouting, but I'm not gonna put my hopes onto that. So what I did was I did a whole tray of ones that I know are going to sprout, and they are pretty much the Oregon Giants, which are delicious. And then I did a couple of the blizzard peas right there. Let's put that down. And you're going to see when we go in the back garden, the Oregon Giant, the reason I started so many, their peas are delicious and they're huge. So I'll show you those when we go up to the garden. So that's what's in this tray. Then over here, I finally separated all the jicama. This to me is like a summer root crop. It's delicious. It's almost kind of like a potato. It reminds me of a potato. I had planted and harvested these last year. I tried like 2 or 3 of them, and you guys, they were huge and they were beautiful, and they cooked so well with some olive oil, some garlic, and some onion powder. So I am growing as much as I can this year. That will, you know, with my space allowing it. I think there's like, I don't know, 18 here if I remember. So that's the jicama, and then over here is the ginger and turmeric. I will be planting, you can see, let's see if I can find one right here. Look, it's like ready to be planted. I'm going to probably be planting this in the next couple of weeks because these do very well in my zone. Now on the very top row, there's not going to be a ton in here because it's pretty much tomatoes, peppers, and basil. But these were the little, now this doesn't really look like much because I just potted these, but these are the tomato, bush tomato seedlings that were left that I bought from the dollar store. And then back there, are the Martha F1 tomato plants that I overwintered. I tried it out one time, and you guys, they were the first plants that gave me tomatoes. I don't overwinter tomato plants, but the Martha F1s, this is my second year doing it, so that's what that is back there. And then here's the rest of all of the tomato plants. I think I planted or started way too many tomato plants for sure. And knowing me, I will find a home for them, whether it's in my backyard or friends. But there is a lot of tomato seedlings. So a lot of these are the San Marzanos, the Martina Romas, which are my two favorite ones. And then there's the sweet potatoes. I just recently did a video on this method of sweet potato growing. If you want to check that out, I'll leave that in the description below. Best method so far in my experience of getting sweet potato slips, because you guys, sweet potato slips are pricey. And so anytime I could do something to save some money, I'm going to do it. I'm going to share it with you guys. And then over here are the pepper plants. I'm going to definitely be separating these, like I said. And then on the other side over here, let's go around. There's all of my sweet potato slips in here. But I have all of the other tomatoes. It's a lot of tomato starch, you guys. A lot. And it's just a lot of different varieties. Some that are new, some that I really, really, really love. And then over here is the basil. These are doing amazing. Now, most of these I have grown before. There is a new variety. It is the mammoth basil. I shared this, I think, the last tour, but I'm really looking forward to trying these because the leaves are supposed to be so big. That's why the name's mammoth, but I'm looking forward to those. And then this one, which is the red Reuben basil. You guys, this is a very prolific basil. If you haven't grown it, it's delicious. It's gorgeous. The purple color is just gorgeous, and it's an overall great basil. So we got all the basil, and then let's go outside and take a look at what's over there. And then all of these plants right here are my overwinter pepper plants. I have just been taking them outside when it's warm out, just to get them acclimated to being outside again. Now, this is the only one that's been showing some green leaf and some blossoms. The other ones haven't. I'm pretty sure, because this is my second time overwintering pepper plants, I'm pretty sure that they're gonna start to show some growth. But I mean, if they don't, I have a lot of pepper plants. It's not the end of the world. I just really enjoyed overwintering them last year and had gotten a lot of peppers from these, so I just did it again this year. So we'll see what happens. So this tray over here is a lot of my snap peas. Those are the dwarf ones, and then these are kind of falling over. I'm going to be planting these in the next day or two, but I seed started them because I was having issues with them starting in the soil, I think because of the millipedes, so we're going to be planting those soon. This is another pepper plant, and interestingly enough, my mother-in-law gave this to me. I want to say this is the little Tabasco pepper plant. Look at all of these little pepper starts, because these little teeny peppers just fell, and I just think it's so cute. So I won't be without peppers, but I'm pretty sure that this one will start showing some growth and some life in the next weeks to come. And then over here are the delicata squashes. I had saved seed from some squash that I purchased from Azure, and two of them sprouted. So I'm like, well, you know what? Let me try growing it now, because we have very bad vine borer issues, squash vine borers. And I'm like, well, they sprouted. I'm not going to kill them. So I'm trying to see if this would help. Being that it is more springtime, I'm not really sure, but we'll just have to see what happens. So I'm just going to show everything from above. A lot of this is lettuces. These right here are all of my herbs. These are the calendulas over here. Lots of lettuces, fennel, spinaches, and a lot of these over here. Some of them actually aren't doing the best, which I'm actually not that mad about, because I'm not going to have the space to plant every single one of these. But these are a lot of the collards, the cabbages, broccoli, cauliflower. And I think the ones that are doing pretty decent, I'll be able to plant, because a lot, you'll see in the back when we go back there, a lot of the cabbages and everything that I planted, and broccoli that I planted in the winter time, because I had cut them covered with the frost covers, they're all doing really good right now. So I may not even need to plant all of these and just put a few in spots that are empty. And then here are all those onions that are shallots, onions, and leeks that were left on my table. And then you guys look at all that Swiss chard. So pretty. And then this tray is a lot of kale and collards, and then here's some more Swiss chard. We definitely did a lot of new varieties this year, and I'm looking forward to planting those. And then a lot of these are zinnias and calendulas, and these are all the fennel. And if you all remember the trays that I shared with you, how I bought some that had 200 cells, 72, 50, 128, you guys, I'm really happy I bought them. They have worked very well. Now I do have to water them a little bit more often, but to me, it was very well worth it. And then look at all the snapdragons. So pretty. And then these are a lot of shallots. And then the rosemary is doing really good. I cannot wait to plant those. All right, friends, I so badly want to show you everything here on the driveway because there's a lot going on here, but I'm going to need to be very quick because I want to get back to the backyard garden, but everything has been blossoming. I mean, look at the strawberries are blossoming. They're starting to form. You guys, look at all the potatoes. Oh, I'm so excited about these. So I'm probably going to do a separate video on specifics of what I've grown in my green stalks, just to give people ideas, because there's so much you could do with green stalks, and I cannot say enough how much I love them because of the space that they save. But those are all of the potatoes. This is the new lemon mint, you guys. I haven't tried it yet, but look at how much I started this from seed and planted it in the fall time, and it's doing really good. So these two are the strawberry towers. You guys, look at the perennial tower. It's got marshmallow, stinging nettle. Look at this stinging nettle, so pretty. And then we got yarrow. I'm excited about this. And then my favorite mint, which is the mojito mint. I'm gonna have to start harvesting the mint too because it's just growing. This one is the peppermint. I really wish that YouTube, like, you could smell through it, because you guys, this stuff just smells amazing. So we're gonna have to be harvesting this soon, all the mints, and I'm too excited. And then you guys, look at all these onions. I mean, I feel like everything grew. Oh, you don't belong in there, buddy. You gotta get out. But look at how much everything grew. I'm just impressed. Super, super, super impressed. In fact, a couple of days ago, because we had a lot of rain, I came outside because I hadn't been in the garden for like, I don't know, a day or two. And I feel like everything exploded. Wait till you guys see the lettuce in the back. It feels like everything exploded overnight. So the onions are doing good. We got a lot of broccoli heads that are growing in the green stalk. The kale is doing good, minus the aphids that keep eating it. And then we have the spearmint on top that's doing really good. More kale. This is all the garlic. All the garlic's doing good. I'm going to do a separate video on harvesting this. And then those two are for sweet potatoes. When we have those sweet potato slips that are going to be planting there. I might plant some sweet potato slips in another spot too, just to try other spots other than just the green stalk. So we'll see. And then you guys, the bags on the wall, pretty much in a nutshell, I'll give you an example. This is what I'm going to be doing a lot with the sweet peas. So here's my goal. And I might have said this last video, but I'll just say it because I do have new people that watch me often. So this little trellis, for each marker, I put a sweet pea, snap pea. And then what I'm probably gonna do is, because my transition from spring to summer, I feel like I can start summer plants at the same time while spring plants are growing. So I think what I'm gonna do is put a cucumber seed, because I picked out all my cucumbers, watermelons, and all. I did not seed start those. I'm going to direct sow those because, as you saw, I have a lot of seedlings that I was dealing with. I could not handle any more. But I think what I'm gonna do is put a cucumber seed in between in between here, sorry, move the camera, while I have a snap pea that's planted next to these, if that makes sense. So then while the cucumber plant is growing, I'm getting my snap peas, and then the snap peas, because it is a pea and a bean, it fixes nitrogen into the soil. I can just cut it at the soil level, and now I just fix nitrogen into the soil. And then I did stick in some romaine lettuce here and some onions for companion planting right here, you can see. So this is a hodgepodge of a bunch of stuff in this bag, and I'm pretty much gonna do it for those bags with the snap peas that you saw. And then in between here, my goal is to put leeks and onions and just some other plants that are good companion plants. And then these are designated for ginger and turmeric. So 2 ginger, 2 turmeric, and then those 2. I haven't decided exactly when I'm going to plant in those, but I'll fill them with something. And then here's my wild asparagus. I do need to get something to prop these up because they're just like hanging over here. And I don't see any to harvest today. Actually, there's one growing there, but I'm gonna let it grow a little bit more. And so that's what's going on with the asparagus. But what I wanna do before we go back here is this last broccoli. If you remember, we harvested the 2 broccolis out of here. We're gonna harvest this one because you can see it's starting to kind of flower on me a little bit. And it's still edible because I'm gonna stir fry or put in the cast iron. But I'm going to cut down here and we're gonna harvest this broccoli. And as much as I would love to come down here and harvest, so these metal carts are all of my herbs. A lot of the herbs that you saw on that one tray in the driveway is going to fill a lot of these missing spots, but look at all this oregano. I so badly want to harvest this right now, but I do not have the time because there's so much that needs to be harvested up there. All right, I'm going to try my best to condense as much as I can in this video to show you all and harvest, because like I said, there's just a lot going on. Now this first bed that originally had, I was trying to overwinter pepper plants in here and they just didn't go as planned, but I will be planting some stuff in here. As you saw, I have a bunch of seedlings. I don't know exactly what's going to go in here, but I will put something in here. And the reason I kept these hoops on is specifically for the insect netting, just to keep squirrels, because the squirrels back there are nuts and they like to eat everything. I've tried sprays. I even have these sensors right here, which I don't have on because I don't want your ears to hurt. And while those probably do work, I do find that these work. They just don't hit all the spots because, you know, squirrels are stealthy. You know, they're like little acrobats, and they still were getting into stuff. So I found that the insect netting was by far the best. It's worked the best. But this bed is full of broccoli. So this is the Romanesco broccoli. I haven't seen heads, but my goodness, you guys, this thing, oh, look at that. There's a little bee stuck in here. Is that a bee? I think it is. All right, I'll let him out later because I think those are the little ones and they're mean. Oh my gosh, yeah, those are mean. They're very mean. I think they're like little jackets. There's another one swarming in there, so I'm not going to put my head under here, but look at all these broccoli. So like I was saying before I got distracted, I've never grown Romanesco broccoli. These leaves are massive. They're gorgeous. I can't wait to harvest the leaves and the whole plant, but I haven't seen the head yet. I'm pretty sure they're going to start heading soon, at least I hope. And the Swiss chard is doing very well. I think because the broccoli is so large, the Swiss chard is probably not growing as large, but that's okay. Now this one is starting to head. So, and it's kind of purple looking. So we'll see. Some of these are new varieties. I've never grown them, so we'll have to see. Now the onions that are surrounded in all these spots, they're doing really well. I think those are also helping with insect pressure. So I'm very glad that I did this. Now I will say we're probably going to harvest this one because it's going to start to flower. I can tell. You can tell when a Swiss chard is going to flower, and I'll tell you why. So if you see, and hopefully I can show you, you can see how the stem is kind of thick going all the way up, versus if you see this one, it's not like that. You just have a bunch of Swiss chard like coming out everywhere, if that makes any sense. You can see like the little one growing here, and it just keeps growing from the middle. That's when you know it's going to flower, because it's just one thick stem going all the way up, as opposed to the leaves just growing out from the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and harvest this. And all I'm going to do here is not rip it out. I'm trying to do it with one hand. I'm just going to cut it and take it out that way. And these are still edible. The last time I harvested one of them with you guys, I sauteed it in the cast iron. It was delicious. So now this one is starting to head, so that's really exciting to see. There's a lot going on in this bed as well as the other bed. Between these two, this wood bed and the other wood bed, there's a lot going on, and I'm very, very, very happy. So we'll continue to be harvesting from this in the weeks to come. I did want to quickly show you, look at all this chamomile. So I designated these 2 pots just for chamomile. I really do need to harvest quite a bit of these so that they can continue to grow. But look at how beautiful they are. There's a lot going on up here. So much. All right, friends, you know what? I'm just kind of popping some of these off because I want them to continue to grow. And the more you pop off, the more they're just going to keep growing. So beautiful. Look at how much I've gotten already. It's so pretty. All right, look at it, not too bad. I love chamomile. So this is what I was talking about, all the snap peas. Now this side's doing way better. This is the Sugar Ann, and those are the Oregon Giants. These are the Avalanche, and then these are, I think these are Oregon Giants as well, because the other one, the other variety that I had, I ran out of. But you guys, this is what I'm talking about. Look at how big this is. It's like the size of my hand. And they're delicious, you guys. So I'm gonna pick whatever I see. I've been actually eating a few, so I would be surprised. Okay, we have some new ones here because I had been eating them. So I can't help it, I gotta take this one. They're so delicious, they're so crispy and so refreshing. And then you see there's more blossoms. And then these over here are the Sugar Anns. So I'm actually going to harvest these as well. And it is snap pea season, you guys, and I'm so excited. I love snap peas so much. Now, if you guys have a favorite variety, please list them down, because I'm always wanting to try new varieties. So far, the Oregon Giant is one of my favorites. Sugar Ann is really good. The telephone pea over there, I know it doesn't look like much, but that's one of my favorites too. So I'll show you that there in a minute. Now over here, there's nothing to harvest, but this is all onions and shallots and broccolis. But look at how beautiful they're doing. So far, no aphid or bug issues. Everything's looking pretty good. I do think the insect netting is helping, and the onions around them, because onions are a great companion plant. But we'll see. We will see what happens. Is that a wasp? No. Okay. I don't do wasps, you guys. They freak me out. I will run like a little baby because they scare me. So I don't like wasps, but everything's looking really good here. Now this bed is definitely going to need some attention this week. So these are the carrot seedlings. I've shared this before in previous videos that I did 9 different varieties starting here, and then I staggered, and you can see which ones have taken off. Now I got to come over here and thin these out. So far, Romance 1 is by far the best. The Napoli F1 is doing very well too. That is one of my favorites, but Romance F1 is doing really good, and you can see which varieties are doing better than others. So I had planted, here's a perfect example because all of them sprouted. You can plant, I should say, 16 carrots in a square foot, but I decided to do 9 because I'm trying different varieties. I wanted to make sure that I had full-size carrots, but also trying to grow as much as I could. So I did 9 in each square to give it kind of a fair assessment of, you know, being able to fairly grow them in a decent amount of space instead of trying to cram 16 in one square. But you can see how some did better than others. So we'll have to see how it goes. And then the other squares, I haven't figured out what to plant. I have a lot of starts down there, so I'll just, I'll figure that out as I bring them up here. You guys, this bed, this one and that one is insanely crazy. This is what I wanted to harvest with you all, and I don't think I'm going to have time to harvest everything, but there's a lot of Swiss chard. They're getting gigantic, they're gorgeous, and they're beautiful. So I'm going to be harvesting some of the Swiss chard. Cabbage is doing amazing. The carrots on the side are doing amazing. I don't think they're quite ready yet. This one is actually the Scarlet Nantes. I didn't think that these were going to do good because they weren't doing as well as the Napoli F1s over here, because they were showing green a lot sooner. But I don't know. I have to wait and see until I pull everything out. This is what I wanted to show you too. Look at this broccoli plant. So I believe this has to be the Romanesco, because I'm noticing that, or the Waltham 29. For some reason I don't have a tag on here. I know it's in my journal inside. I'm gonna have to look up what this plant is, but this is tall. I mean, these leaves are massive. They're bigger than my hand. And so far, yeah, I haven't seen, it's probably going to start heading soon, but I haven't seen anything yet. I think this is the Romanesco though. But other than that, everything else is going really good. So what I did the other day is, and you're gonna see I pulled out all the Brussels sprouts over here, but I went in and I pulled out ones that were not doing well, and then I kept the ones that were good, so that when I bring the starts up, I can start filling in the spots that I need to. And then you can see all the cilantro that I planted on the side of the bed. I planted them here last time on the very side, and they did really good. So I did it again this year. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna harvest a couple of these Swiss chard leaves. All right, well, I think I did a pretty good job of kind of getting all the leaves, because I know some of them were actually covering others. You can tell like these were really tiny and skinny compared to those because they were overshadowing them. So I cleaned it up quite a bit, and so far so good. You guys, look at that. And we have a whole other bed. I don't even know if I'm gonna have time or the space to get more. This is a lot. Okay, now before we go on to the other beds, because I want to show you all that's going on, what I plan to do, I'm going to show you these right here in the middle and what my plan is. So these sweet peas right here, or snap peas, which are the Magnolia, hold on, you can see the, or maybe not, let me show you up close. Look at that beautiful purpley pink flower. I've never grown these before, but they're very prolific and they're very nice. But these are the, let's see my scribble, if you can read that, Sugar Magnolia snap peas. Okay, so first time growing them, and so far I'm really loving them a lot. So those are on this side, and then we have the telephone peas over here. Last year these got so massive that they grew past this trellis. I don't know if you can see the trellis because of trees in the background, but they did amazing. And then after these were done, I planted my Kentucky Wonders. Now, my goal is probably the same thing, or I'm going to try to do the same thing as I did, or I explained to you with the grow bags. I am probably going to start my Kentucky Wonders in between, because I put a snap pea for each piece of wire here so that they had some space in between. But I think what I'll do is start a Kentucky Wonder in between those so that those get a good head start. Because what I'm dealing with, or what I'm finding to be frustrating, is the transition from spring to summer, because you still have stuff growing in the springtime, but you can get a head start on your summer by planting some things in the springtime. So that's kind of my struggle right now. So I'm trying to figure out how I can grow my spring stuff and also start growing my summer stuff and giving it a much, better head start. With that being said, let's go over a few of things of what I did and all that's going on before we harvest the Swiss chard out of that bed. So this bed, I have 2 different varieties of cilantro at this end and that end. And then these starts, I actually planted those in the winter time and they didn't look like they were doing much. Now they're starting to look like they're taking off, but you can see there's spots that need to get filled. There's some dill that I planted in the fall time that's starting to show. But a lot of these plants, I'm going to keep an eye on them because if nothing comes of them, I'm just going to pull them out and put new starts. There's a kale plant right here that's doing really good. And then this, I planted this calendula. This is the cream and coffee calendula, I believe. Look at how pretty that is. They're already showing blossoms though. I'm really happy to see that. I really thought that this died because it started growing in the winter time, if you'd seen the tours in the winter time, and then it died back and it came back. So I'm really happy to see this. And then, so like I said, the rest, I'm just going to keep an eye on them, and if they don't start to show signs of growing, I'm just going to pull these out and stick some starts in here. And then look at all of this lettuce in these grow bags. So this is the romaine lettuce. This variety, the Paris or Petit something, I can't say it. This does really well in my garden. So I've been growing this now. I think this is my 2nd or 3rd year growing this, and I have some more here. And then look at the red sail lettuce. These do very well for me too. Now we did have a light freeze the other night, so some of it looked like it died back, but it's looking really good now. So I think what I'm going to do is stick some onion plants around as a companion plant because of slugs and all sorts of other pests, but so far you guys, it's looking really good. And then over here, if you all remember, this was filled with Brussels sprouts. So unfortunately, there were no Brussels sprouts. I'm pretty bummed about it, but it is what it is. So here's what I did. You can see that there's still onions in here. I gotta put this down for a second. I left the onions in here. Those are doing really good. You can see how some of them were being overshadowed by the Brussels sprouts, so I'm hoping that they'll start to grow a little bit more now. But I cut every single one of them out and I saved the leaves. I'm gonna insert a small little clip of everything I harvested, because you can eat the Brussels sprout leaves of the plant. I'm either going to saute them or I'm going to freeze dry them and powder them to make it kind of like a supplement like I do with my kale. I'm not really sure, but they weren't doing anything, so I'm getting this bed ready for the spring crops as I've been getting all the beds ready. And then look at that comfrey, isn't that pretty, you guys? So that was what I did in that bed, but now we're going to harvest. Look at this bed. This bed's crazy over here too. And there's just a ton of Swiss chard. Now there's a few you can see because it's got a long stem. That one is going to start to flower. So I'm just going to cut a lot of these from the roots. But you guys, look at that romaine. It's beautiful. Oh, you guys, wait till this gets bigger and heads up. It is the most gorgeous, it is the most gorgeous head of romaine I've ever seen, more so than the grocery store. And then I have a red sales in there, and I just have a bunch of, you can see like some cabbages. These are the stonehead cabbage. Never tried this variety until this year so far. It is impressing me a lot. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna harvest these before we lose light out here. All right, so I cleaned up quite a bit. Actually, there was quite a bit that was gonna start to flower on me, but they've been in here for a long time, you guys, because I planted these months ago during the winter time. And obviously, even with the frost cover, while they still grew and stayed strong, they just obviously started growing a whole lot more because it's been getting warmer out. So, and here, look at my other romaine right here. You guys, I don't think I have a big enough basket. Look at this, massive amount of Swiss chard. I'm so excited. All right, so for the rest of the garden, I'm just gonna kind of show you what's going on and what I plan to do. So I finally planted the rest of those potato seeds that I shared with you all. These are the square grow bags, so they're 20 gallons per square, and it's 3, you can see the handles right here, and the other one is right here. So I have, it's 1 whole bag right here, and then I have another one, so there's 3 of them. So 1, 2, and 3, and we'll see how they go. Now I didn't fill it up all the way because as the potatoes start to grow, I'm going to try to cover it with either straw or some soil. So we'll see what happens with these. And then a lot of these bags are empty right here because I want to start planting the watermelon and pumpkins in these. And then I haven't done a ton back here since the last video, except for having the bamboo sticks ready and some of the netting, because I was so focused on separating the seedlings that I didn't get a chance to do that. But I think when I start to put the plants or the seedlings in there is when I'll probably bring the insect netting and cover them. So now this bed I've shared before. I've been pretty sad about this because a lot of stuff was not growing, so I just pulled everything out, and I might even take some of the comfrey because I'm going to attempt to make homemade fertilizer again this summer with the comfrey. But what I might do is take a couple leaves and rip them up under the soil and amend the soil. But I pretty much pulled everything out, so this is new, except this one because it was starting to show, I don't know if you can see that, starting to show a little broccoli head. So we'll see. I didn't want to take it out if it was going to grow. So we'll see what this one does. But for the most part, everything had to go because it just looked like it wasn't doing anything. Not really sure why, but I think the bed just needs to be amended a little bit better. And then you guys, I want to point something out because these big flower pots, I had my dahlias in there last year and I ordered some new ones. Now I didn't know that they were perennials if you dug up the bulbs. So I'm going to do that this next year. But I had planted peonies last year in these little ones, and I think they're finally starting to grow. And I cannot wait to see these bloom. Peonies and dahlias are some of my favorite flowers, which is why I put like little flower pots on the corners of the garden. You'll see them over here, and then there's some over there, and then one right here in the middle. So we'll see if they blossom. I can't wait because I think peonies are gorgeous. And then back here is not much. I went through everything last night and I pulled out what wasn't growing and I kept the things that were growing. Now, something I do want to point out, you see the Swiss chard. So these were scrawny little babies if you've seen my other garden tours, and they're growing so beautifully. I'm like really impressed. Sometimes when something looks like it's not growing, you just never know. So I just kept it in there and they're doing really good. And then if you guys remember, I'm not going to take this insect netting off because it's getting dark. Do you remember the red Russian kale when it got hit with the squirrels ate it? You guys look at it grew back. So this is the first time I'm growing red Russian. So I'm very excited to see that grow more and harvest. So far, most of the kale is doing good. I know there was some, sorry for the out of focus, you guys. Some of the kale got, there was one that had some insect damage, but for the most part, they're doing pretty good. And then back here, as I said, I was cleaning out a few plants that weren't doing very well, but everything's pretty much ready for me to plant some seedlings in here. This one I'm going to add, so the reason this is empty is a lot of my overwinter pepper plants are going to go on this pallet as well as this one. We still haven't been able to put these up yet. We will though. And then those ceramic pots over there are going to go here as well as these. I wanted everything to have a home, and I want everything to have like an aisle. I didn't want bags out of order. I wanted an aisle here, an aisle here, an aisle here. I like to have things in order, as you can tell. And so that's part of the reason why I got the pallets, is also to get everything off the ground. So yeah, so everything's in its place. We're just gonna put the rest of those bags there, the overwinter pepper plants, and then we're gonna start planting everything. And then hopefully in the weeks to come, you guys are gonna see a bunch of new starts and some harvesting. And as far as these large bags, I have 8 25-gallon bags right here in the middle. Over the summer, I had a lot of tomatoes in here. So I put the Dollar Tree waste baskets over the cabbages that were doing very well. Pretty much these right here are Stonehead and New Jersey, and they're all doing really good, you guys. So I put these over them to protect them from the squirrels. This one is doing really well. I so badly want to take the wastebasket off because I don't want to suffocate the cabbage, but I checked it the other day and so far so good. I'm just afraid if I take this off, you can see how close we are to the woods, that the squirrels are gonna attack it. So I felt like I had a better chance of just keeping that on and growing something than for them to attack it. And then one thing, or the last thing I want to point out is all of this right here. So I showed you all the garlic down below in the GREENSTALK. This entire bed is all garlic. This is garlic. And then this is garlic. Now there are some that didn't make it, so I stuck some broccoli here, and I believe these are empty too. This was my first time growing garlic in the buckets. So far it's looking like the bigger buckets did a little bit better than the smaller ones, but I don't know, it could have been just that they just were not good bulbs that I put in there. I don't know, but we'll see. Either way, I planted 444 bulbs or cloves of garlic, and so we'll have to see how much garlic I harvest this coming spring, summer. All right, friends, let's go ahead and see what we harvested today. Okay, I should have gotten a much bigger bowl because I have a really large silver bowl in the garage, and I didn't realize that this was going to be a lot of Swiss chard. And then we do have that broccoli head in there, but you guys, look at all this. This is massive. So I'm really excited about all this Swiss chard. And you saw the little Swiss chards that I have growing in the little seedling trays that we still have to plant. So I'm very happy that we harvested this today. And then it's a start. We got a couple of snap peas as well as some chamomile. I'm trying to get these snap peas because they're like taking over the chamomile. Look at that chamomile, it's so pretty. It smells beautiful too. So we got some chamomile, and then we got some snap peas. So as always, super excited about the harvest. So friends, I so appreciate you stopping by, and I always look forward to seeing you guys next time. And always remember, friends, be encouraged, stay encouraged, and always stay inspired. And I'll see you all next time. Bye.